And Wiley is pinning our bracket, so you can take a look at it. Feel free to contribute to the prize pool. I'll have to look at what the prize pools for the individual games are, but they are separated by game. And last I checked, TEC did have the smallest prize pool. So if you are interested in this game, definitely get out there. But we are actually going to be jumping into this match. So this is a 1st to 7. I will say the most recent matchups yesterday, Jayden versus Uyeshota, where Uyeshota won both, that was a 1st to 5, whereas the one where Jayden won, that was a 1st to 7. So we're going to find out if this is an endurance-based thing right here. This is 1st to 7. So yeah, let's get with it.
Plenty of time for adaptation. We're going to see the TEC Classic of both players going for 6-3 starts.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the classic way to start. I feel like a lot of the players that are comfortable in this game are going to go for that. And I would say both of these players, of the ones in the bracket, are probably some of the most comfortable in this game.
Pacing is very similar on both sides, but Uyeshota is going to trigger first with the cleaner board state and PC parity if they decide to go for it. Set up a nice donation there.
Yeah, a little bit of awkwardness on Uyeshota's board as Jayden does start off this zone. That's still a 51-17, still a very strong zone, even though they did not get the full... Oh, there's the DT. Love to see it. Ooh, and Jayden also ending zone a little bit early, but both players are going to be recovering this well.
Yeah, Jayden did have a C-spin in that zone, very swaggin'. They get to tank a lot, so even though Uyeshota ended their zone first, Jayden's not going to be too far behind in pacing.
Yeah, and we do see Uyeshota pushing close to that 60,000 mark. We do see only half zone, so we may see a zoneless transition here. Ooh, that donut was cute. Yeah, Uyeshota pushed up a little bit on the board. Probably not going to zone quite yet. Finding their way down a little bit. Okay, Jayden does zone before the phase 3 ding. And we'll probably have Uyeshota, yeah, zoning now.
We have been seeing a lot of zoneless transitions when it comes to these higher levels of play, but Jayden's going to go ahead and break that norm, sending 56 in this transition interaction.
And Uyeshota has an ulti to send back a 63, and that's going to put a lot on Jayden's board here right from the get-go, and this is going to put Uyeshota in the driver's seat so far in this interaction.
Yeah, a lot of damage on Jayden's board, but they were to cancel just enough to survive.
Yeah, and Uyeshota definitely screen watching, taking a pause to tank a little bit earlier, and is definitely trying to close this out. That's a great TST setup. Wait, that's so cute.
Oh my gosh. We're going to see Jayden also trying to get that down stack. It's going to be pretty tough to find efficiency with this board state, but if with high enough combo, they might be able to get out of here.
Yeah, and Jayden is going to try to work down this stack here. Okay, she ends zone a little bit early here. A little bit of a tough situation on Jayden's board, working through it very well, but Uyeshota is definitely going for the kill shot here with this.
Yeah, ending that zone really quickly, not even going to worry about down stacking, just trying to give Jayden as little time as possible.
Yeah, and that's a lot of Q on Jayden's board, and that is going to be that first round. I will say in the 1st to 7 that Jayden did win against Uyeshota, it did kind of seem like Uyeshota wasn't fully up to speed. And so I think that's Jayden's win condition, is Uyeshota having a little bit of awkwardness because they are a very consistent player. So it'll be difficult for her to beat them without them breaking that consistency.
Yeah, the consistency is pretty unmatched up here in these levels of play. As we can see, once again, both players starting with a 6-3, nobody too far behind in pacing just yet.
Oh yeah, for sure. And Jayden and Uyeshota are two players that have very similar pacing, and so that's kind of something we expect to see in most of this phase 1, phase 2 gameplay.
Uyeshota is going to trigger that zone first, keeping back-to-back all the way through, it looks like. Yep, setting up another T-spin, and Jayden is not too far behind on that zone start.
Right, and I feel like when we mention back-to-back, that's something that can take a strong zone and turn it into even a stronger zone, and ooh, yeah, that's not where you want to be if you're Jayden.
In a single line of living and dying, she is going to survive, but Uyeshota's pressure is going to keep incoming.
Amazing down stack there from Jayden to stay alive. And yeah, so when it comes to zone, I think a lot of us don't think about breaking back to back, but if we're talking about the difference between like a 59 and a 63 zone, breaking back to back there in the middle can have a lot more implications, especially since what you're worrying about is efficiency. And if you break back to back, you're already losing a lot of efficiency with every single clear you do.
Yeah, you've got that limited space, and those extra few lines really is going to come in clutch. And I think that's a simul zone start from these players. I think they both saw the same thing.
So yeah, we may see a situation here where if one player has a significantly stronger zone, then that may just kill the other. And that's a great T-spin at the top for Uyeshota. It's going to put a little bit on Jayden's board, but she did have the time to get the quarter zone and the stack ready to go to handle this.
And about that significantly stronger zone, we're going to see that it falls in Uyeshota's territory here, as Jayden has almost halfway of straight garbage.
Yeah, and ooh, that misdraft from Jayden is not great, but she has the 3/4 zone to work with here, does not take it, and that is going to be a second point for Uyeshota.
And those stats from both players, Uyeshota almost playing at 1 APP. Gonna see that 6-3 from both again.
Yeah, 6-3 start here. Again, both players very fast in this matchup. Jayden obviously tends to be the faster player, but Uyeshota can definitely keep up.
Yeah, the proportionate speed difference isn't as much as people really think it is, even when on paper it looks like Jayden should just be going crazy with the difference. And Uyeshota's gonna fire first. Like a really quick one. They are gonna find that row 20 skim there, and pretty even off of the initial zone interaction.
Yeah, Jayden waiting a bit to tank that from Uyeshota there. And yeah, very even first zone here. We do see Uyeshota with the score advantage.
We're gonna see how that translates to zone charge, because we have been seeing a lot of zoneless transitions when it comes to just not having it when you need it. Suffering from the success of too much food.
Yeah, both players here do have that zone ready to go, less than that 60,000 point mark. And I would expect Uyeshota to be the first one to zone here. Okay, it seems like both players zoned at the same time here. Yes, what much better on the stream for us. Yes, thank you. Okay, cool. Yeah, all right. So again, we're seeing Jayden on the back foot here with a bit of a more garbage on the bottom of her board, but this is definitely a lot more even than the past 2 rounds at the start of phase 3 here.
Jayden's actually going to start up a 6-3 on top of their garbage, just going to try and match Uyeshota's efficiency right now that Uyeshota really loves to go for.
Yeah, and it's definitely working out for her. She is building up the side 4 wide here, using it in zone. Ooh, okay, breaks the combo right at the beginning, but this can still be a strong interaction. Breaks combo again, but honestly gets so high of a clear there that it does not matter. Has a huge garbage chunk on Uyeshota's board.
Yeah, efficiency does a lot, but if you have those higher clears, then it really can mitigate the more inefficient plays. Especially when you're a player as fast as Jayden.
Yeah, and we are at about even here. Jayden is looking to pull this back and doing a great job so far. Has a half zone here to try to do some attack. Working through it. Ending a little bit early, but honestly some great efficiency within that zone. Ooh, that's an unfortunate misdrop. She fixes it like right away though. Wow, like nothing.
Uyeshota's going to make it through a majority of their garbage down stacking in the zone, but they are looking to be quite on the back foot because Jayden has a lot of sustain at their disposal here.
Yeah, and Jayden's stacking right now is absolutely insane. She's being so aggressive with this, trying to get her footing back, and so far it's working as Uyeshota's pushed up on the board. I don't know if they even out here. They have a quarter zone, but that's a lot to deal with and a lot incoming from Jayden right now.
It's high on the board. They just don't have the space to set up the setups that they need in order to cancel Jayden's pressure, and Jayden's going to go for the kill shot here starting this zone.
Yeah, Jayden absolutely trying to kill here with this, and that's a very fast zone. The more time you give Uyeshota, the more of a chance they have to get that half zone. They do find the half zone there, and let's see if they're able to get out of this, but this is still a tall order even if they do.
Yeah, Jayden actually didn't even consider the higher clear, just recognizing that they cannot give Uyeshota time, but Uyeshota still manages to find their survival, and they have the space that they need.
Yeah, Jayden is at the bottom of the board, still trying to spam attack. Uyeshota has another quarter zone. Jayden with the DT, not even tanking anything there, just going full offense here, and that's definitely the play.
And Jayden's actually going to zone from the bottom here. Pretty risky move, but when they were this far in advantage, it might pay off.
Yeah, this is definitely a very calculated move from Jayden here, but as you mentioned, yes, very risky, and that is a very strong zone. That's a lot of damage incoming. Uyeshota not able to tank it at all, but they do have a pretty low board. They may be able to turn this around with this zone, but it's not going to be easy.
You did see them go for a few out of zone skims, which is going to give them the overcharge that they need. getting another quarter, and they are going to go ahead and let it rip while they have the opportunity to, not letting themselves get limited too much.
Yeah, and we see Jayden has a misdrop that's going to slow her down a little bit as Uyeshota is going for the C-spin here, and we're going to see... Yeah, Jayden does do another zone here. It's not that Jayden's really lost any of the lead, but just is failing to kill this player who just does not want to die. That's what these top players are so good at, is just absolutely clutching on for dear life with those quarter zones.
Yeah, it's always going to be hard to close these matches. One interesting thing about TEC is that there isn't really too much of a real seesaw. By the end of the game, you really have just dominated your opponent, and that's what you're looking for. You're looking for that window to really secure that kill, and Jayden just didn't have what she needed and just slams the top out.
Yeah, a misdrop towards the end there. Jayden clearly frustrated with not being able to find the kill, but Uyeshota was showing us an absolute masterclass in how to stay alive in this game.
Yeah, we're going to see Jayden go for a TSS opener. Not often you see those in TEC. But right into the 6-3 over top of the garbage. Going to be looking to squeeze out some more efficiency before they force themselves into 8-1 stacking.
Yeah, that 8-1 wall not looking too great, but Uyeshota also has these pretty inconsistent walls on their board, so both players maybe not in the best RNG state right now.
Jayden did some interesting counting there, able to keep efficiency for as long as possible. We're going to see the simul zone from both players, and Jayden is going to end a little bit quicker, but Uyeshota might have the efficiency advantage and finds the ulti as well.
Brings us back to almost perfectly even right here. Jayden does have the score advantage right now, trying to get some of these Kaidans on the side of the board with this 9-0 stacking, as Uyeshota is setting up an STSD, try to find some efficiency of their own.
Yeah, that was a monstrously high-scoring zone from Jayden, and Uyeshota isn't going to let this go zoneless, especially after that misdrop. They might just not be ready for it. Only sending 27.
I believe Jayden did actually turn this over into phase 3 for the zone. The only thing that really changes there is the amount of time, and so that's not really going to affect Jayden that much, and that is going to send some phase 3 garbage onto Uyeshota's board. They do accept a 3 clean well. There was a clean well of 3 different, is that a TST tower?
That is a TST tower.
That is a T-waste TST tower into a C-spin. Oh,
and they get away with it.
Jayden overstacks right there towards the end, and look at that efficiency. Both of them so
players.
close to 1 APP.
Really playing out all the stops for this one, but Uyeshota is on sweet pace. Jayden's going to have to try and find that adaptation that she needs.
Yeah, and that's why Uyeshota is such a difficult opponent to face in this matchup here. Definitely an insanely consistent player.
Yeah, once they get their stride, it's going to be a very formidable force in the advantage state. Even in the disadvantage, we've seen their survival goes crazy, but this is one of those situations where when you end up zoning in an unfavorable time in phase 1.
Yeah, and Jayden has a little bit of awkwardness on her board, cleaning up while finding that T-spin, and is probably going to find, okay, a decently high clear here that is going to put some damage on Uyeshota's board, but for now, we're also back to that even state yet again.
Uyeshota has only a quarter of zone advantage right now, but they are in an LST, which is going to be very scary in terms of the overall damage output.
Yeah, for sure, and very conveniently able to tank things, very strategic here, as Jayden does start the zone. It's less than optimal from Jayden's side, but this may still put us into phase 3, not even close. I don't know what I'm talking about. Both players below that 60,000 mark, and we do see both trying to downstack here. We're going to see, I was going to say zoneless transition, but now Jayden's starting the zone for this transition. I like this move. Yeah,
Jayden had a really good board state there, very much overstacked, so they could get a lot of their material out even in just a quarter, and Uyeshota's going to try and respond, and it is going to almost fully cancel out. But that misdrop from Jayden. They still had the T-spin setup, but I guess she just didn't think it was worth going for.
Yeah, that is an unfortunate misdrop at the top there. That is going to bring Uyeshota into a 5-0 lead in this first to 7. I was wondering if maybe Jayden's controller disconnected or something. If that was an issue with that, then she's had that fixed now, but not quite sure. So Uyeshota is receiving this 9-0 garbage while still maintaining the 7-2 stack, bring it back to a 6-3. Jayden with a misdrop over the well and a misdrop with the fix, and that is, yeah, she's going to top out over frustration with the misdrop on that fix, which is, honestly, it feels like if you're playing against someone like Uyeshota, you can play perfectly and still lose.
As a possibility, but we did see that Jayden is trying something new, going 217 drops per minute. Maybe the missed drops could be a sign of just playing too fast for your own good, even for her.
Yeah, and that's something that anyone at this skill level can do. A lot of players have talked about, okay, yeah, slowing down a little bit is helpful, but some players just, if you get frustrated, you feel like there's nothing else you can do, you just want to put it into overdrive and take that risk, which is what's going to cause those increased rate of misdrops from Jayden's side.
Risk is definitely a good way to put it because Uyeshota is at match point, so Jayden's going to need to do something differently, try and find that momentum back in. We're going to see both players in the zone now. Uyeshota is going to do a very quick 45, Jayden not too far behind.
Right, and this is a very dire situation from Jayden's side. It's going to be a huge uphill battle if she wants to turn this around, but I would honestly assume right now what she's going for is a no sweep.
Very well said. And we're going to see Jayden almost color clearing there, finding a very nice down stack, but that zone end was a little bit suboptimal, so we're going to see Uyeshota with that huge zone advantage.
Yeah, and Jayden is just trying to spam out some efficiency, get a little bit of that zone charge back here. As Uyeshota is definitely going to put this past that 60,000 mark, and that is going to be game. I mean, that was just insanely well played from Uyeshota's side, but I was not expecting a sweep in that matchup at all.
Yeah, very rare sweep when it comes to this matchup because we've seen it happen plenty of times and it's never been this commanding.
Right, and I feel like it's really difficult when, especially that round 3. I think that round 3 very much solidified it there. It felt like Jayden was doing everything in her power that she could, and it just still wasn't enough. And so I can understand how frustrated she'd be after that interaction.
Definitely. This is usually a much closer matchup, but definitely a statement on how much that confidence can, like how big a mindset matters in a matchup.
Oh, absolutely. And I feel like a lot of us talk about the mental game of Tetris, and that was the mental game right there being played. And again, like, you can do everything right, and if Uyeshota's on their game, then there's nothing you can do.